Hi, Lawrence LeBrocq, Managing Partner of Garces, Grabler, and LeBrocq. I'm here today with Bob Ohrablo, who is a very interesting gentleman, entrepreneur, has been involved in minor league hockey and hockey organizations for the past 35 years. We're on Victim to Victory, Triumph over Tragedy. So going along with the theme, tell me, Bob, tell me some of the challenges you had to overcome to become so successful in the hockey world, owning so many franchises, being involved with franchises. How'd this all come about?
You know, it's been in my blood since I was a kid. I grew up in New York, in Queens. Went to Ranger games, enjoyed those. I went to Islander games, wherever I could get a free ticket.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed hockey. But and I played for a little bit, but I also knew that I was never going to be a pro hockey player. As a goalie, and the shots started getting too hard and stuff, and so. But I wanted to be in hockey, and I took the ticket way. So, while I was a junior in high school, I started selling tickets for the WHA team in New York, the old WHA team, who still owe me commission. And then just stayed in hockey right through college, and when I got out of college, I knew what I was going to do, and that was go work for a hockey team.
All right, so what was your first job in hockey?
My first job was I went to school in Binghamton, New York, at SUNY, and then I went to work for the Binghamton Whalers, who were the AHL team in Binghamton at the time. Their owner used to publish our basketball programs at Binghamton, and I was doing a lot of sports marketing for the Division III school there. And he bought this team to save it, him and two partners. And when I graduated, he asked me to come work for them. So I've been in hockey pretty much the whole way through.
Okay, so what were you doing in that first position?
Selling tickets.
Okay.
Selling tickets, sponsorships. Then I started doing all the marketing for the team. And then the league hired me away. The AHL league hired me away to be their director of marketing and sales, and did that for a while in Springfield, Mass. And then I got a job offer from the Phoenix team in the old IHL. And I'm like, Springfield or Phoenix?
Yeah.
Who has the nicer climate? So
Depends
Phoenix,
on the time of
Phoenix
year.
every weekend. Yeah, I know. During hockey season, at least, it was great. So, but I remember going to my first game, and it was 93 degrees at game time. So that was kind of weird. But so I've been at several different teams, several different markets. I did a stint in the NHL with the Florida Panthers when they couldn't win a game to save their lives. I just have a passion for it. I love it.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to go off script here. Now, there was never hockey in Florida. Now, thank goodness you have some transplants from the north up there. So as a guy who is a marketer, what do you do to promote a hockey team or a sport like hockey that's not familiar? Florida's very much baseball, football, Big Ten, some ACC affiliates down there. So how did you get into that market and make it successful? Because obviously the Panthers have done very, very well over the years.
Yes.
But how do you break into that kind of market?
Well, you do it one of two ways. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who have one of the best franchises in the NHL, they won Stanley Cups.
Yep.
So everybody likes a winner. In Florida, we weren't as fortunate back then at winning, and we just rolled up the sleeves and we went out and got groups to come in and made it a place where people could enjoy themselves and have a good time. I left the Panthers after 5 years and went back to the minor leagues because I really enjoy the fact that we can offer family entertainment. We have a ticket price that's not $150, $200 like the NHL is doing now and has to do. But we have a $20 to $30 ticket price, and so family of four can come and enjoy it. And then we also spend a lot of energy entertaining people outside of the hockey in the arena. So it's a show. We have Marvel Night, we have Harry Potter Night, all the great promotions, that attract kids. And then once they're at the game, we have to make sure the kids are entertained. Because if they don't have a good time, then the parents are never taking them back and they're never coming back. But we know they're going to have a good time, and that's what we're excited to bring that here to Trenton.
Right. Well, now you're bringing a hockey team to Trenton. Have we picked a name yet or not yet?
We're going to announce the name in early January.
Okay.
We're working on the trademarking now with the league
Yep.
attorney and stuff, and a logo, which our friends at Adapting Social have created. So we're excited. We had over 300 people attend our initial announcement that we're coming to town. We're expecting 500 or 600 people now to come to our name announcement and unveil. So yeah, we're excited.
Well, you have a beautiful arena. I've been to it's now called the Cure Arena,
Cure
correct?
Insurance Arena. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a nice arena. It should be great for hockey. Trenton, a lot of people in Trenton. What areas do you think you're going to be able to pull people into the arena?
Good question. We're already seeing, we've got over 600 season ticket commitments already and in just 6 weeks. And no name yet. But we're already seeing Hamilton, Princeton, Bucks County. Almost 38% of our ticket holders right now are from Bucks County, PA. So we're drawing from all over that region. We're a regional team, and we've decided, that's what we've become. Hockey it's so funny because this is the first market I've been in where I started a team that's up north. And hockey has such a culture in central New Jersey.
Right.
There's over 7,000 kids playing youth hockey, 3,000 adults. My other markets, Orlando, Jacksonville, Savannah, I literally had to explain to people the difference between a hockey stick and a golf club, and how to hold them. So, we're not selling the sport of hockey now. We're selling the ECHL hockey and the fact that you can watch future NHL players come up for $20, $25 a ticket, and also the family entertainment aspect, as I mentioned before.
Now, what exactly is the ECHL? Like, the reason I ask, like, if you're talking about minor league baseball, you have your rookie, which is A, you have your A, you have your AA, your AAA, then of course your major league. So where is this league?
Yeah, it's AA.
Okay.
There's the ECHL, there's the AHL, the American Hockey League, and then the NHL. So our guys are only 2 steps away from National Hockey League.
So I know we're not going to talk about who the affiliate is or what the name is yet, but when you're affiliated with a team, you'll have rehab assignments from people in the NHL will come down, they'll rehab there, and
that
get their legs
especially
back.
happens with goaltenders.
Yeah.
We've had several NHL goaltenders playing in our league. Doesn't happen as often as baseball because they don't want to have their players come and get injured in the ECHL, but it still happens from time to time, and but the real attraction of our league is watching kids as they for many of them, this is their first pro hockey job, and watching them move up. And we'll make sure that even if we lose a guy, and you hate losing a guy because you want to win too, but that's why you're there. And we'll follow their careers into the NHL as well, and make sure our fans understand that you saw them when they were playing in the ECHL.
So explain a little bit about when a kid gets signed to a contract, a pro contract. Is he going to come and start with you? Will he start in the AHL? Where's he going? How's that work?
Well, many times the kids are coming out of college, D1 schools, top D1 schools, or they're coming out of juniors, Canadian and now U.S. juniors.
Sure.
They're at least 20 years old if they're coming out of juniors, because they have to play in the juniors till they're 20 or go to the NHL. So they'll be assigned. They go to an NHL camp, and they've been drafted already by that NHL team probably 3 years ago.
Right.
They'll go to the camp, and then they'll obviously try to make the NHL team. If they don't, they'll go to the AHL camp, and then if they don't, they come to our camp. And if they don't make the team at our camp, there are leagues below us that are not affiliated with the NHL. So they still have an option to continue their career and try to make it up from the Southern Pro League or the FPHL, places like that.
Right. So it's still great hockey. So it's still professional hockey. It's incredible.
You know what I like about it is that every night's an audition for these kids. You know, when you're in the AHL, you play a little bit. You play well and hard, but you don't want to get hurt because you don't want to miss your opportunity to get called up, okay? In our league, you put it all out in the line, and you know, you hope to get called up either by the team that you're under contract to or another team, you know, to the AHL. So what I like is the hardness that our players play with at every game, the desperation they play with at times.
Right.
And it makes for great hockey.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose. It's to the wall
Exactly.
every game, right?
Exactly.
Which is going to be great. I'm looking forward to coming out and watching the team play. That'll be exciting. Let's talk a little bit about your family life.
Sure.
I know one of the things that one of the best days of your life was your daughter getting married.
Getting engaged. She
Oh,
hasn't
she's
gotten
not
married yet.
Oh, it's getting engaged.
No, she'll be
So-
married. I guess they're talking about March of 27 now for the marriage, but getting engaged. You know, she was, I'm so proud of her. She's our only child. She is a CPA. She works for BDO. And she put her career first. She wanted to get her career going. So now at 34, she met the right guy. And what's even better is that my wife and I like him. And that's a good
that
thing.
helps.
You know, and he's going to marry our little girl. She's still my little girl at 34. So,
Of
you know.
course.
So,
It's
yeah.
always going to be your little girl,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
That's the one thing. Your kids are always your kids, doesn't matter how old they are.
Yeah.
So that's
So we have the
wonderful.
wedding coming up during our first season too. And I told her, I said, listen, if you want to get married on the ice between periods or something, I can arrange that. And she said, no way.
No way. Well, how old's the husband?
He's the
husband.
same age. Same
Okay,
age as
34.
she is. Yeah, 34.
She's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't get married till I was 41.
Wow. Okay.
So it's
All right.
there's time. There's
Oh,
time.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
that biological clock might be ticking a little bit like in my cousin
It is.
Vinny, but
It is. You know, she's marrying an engineer. So you have an accountant and an engineer. Everything is so well planned out.
yes.
So they're getting married in March of 27, and then they want to start working on the grandchild right away. And, you know, I'm not going to stop them. I can't wait to have a couple of grandkids. So,
Well,
you know,
congratulations on that. So tell us some of the challenges now that you're going to face. You've already talked about a couple with bringing a team to Trenton. And why Trenton? How did that come about?
That's a good question. You know, again, most of my teams have been down south.
Yep.
I bought them, built them, and then sold them. But when I got a call from the league saying that Dan Benson, the county executive in Mercer County, realized that they were underutilizing the arena because the ice equipment wasn't working anymore. It was on its last legs, and certainly not good enough to host a team all season long. So, but the league found out that Dan is putting money into the building and new ice system coming in, new glass, new dashers. Trenton was always a market. Again, I was in the ECHL back when Trenton was in the ECHL. I was a different team. And I never understood why they didn't have a team. And then I found out it's mostly because of the building. So when the building was ready, I said to my wife, hey, one more team. And she said, where? And I said, Trenton. And she said, but we live in Florida. And I said, yeah, we'll keep the apartment in Florida. When you get too cold, you come down, you know.
Right.
And so, yeah, and we're both from up north. We're both from the New York area. So, so it's like kind of a homecoming for us. And we believe strongly that that this is going to be a smash hit. I know that we've had hits in Jacksonville and Savannah. And again, we had to educate people not only about the team, but about the sport. You know, here we don't need to do the sport part of it, but, you know, we just need to get them out to the arena and they'll come.
Yeah, the arena's in a good location. It's very accessible, so that's a plus. And I wish you the best with the hockey team. So tell us a little bit about advice you have. Now, you've had a lot of businesses. You've done a lot. Now, selling tickets is not really sexy when you're talking about when you're in college and you're selling tickets to minor league hockey and working on pure commission. So that couldn't have been easy, but it must have been a passion for you.
It was. You know, I had the benefit of still being able to live at home for a little while. But, yeah, you know, I always tell, you know, I do a lot of lecturing at sport management classes. I was at Rider College a few weeks ago.
Right.
And I always say, you know, your first job or two, you don't do it for the money. You do it for the experience, and you do it for the networking that it gives you. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough for my entire life to work for a team, a hockey team, or, I worked in team tennis for a little while. And it's all because of the network that I created. If you go in there and you do the best job you can do, you work harder than anyone else, then you're going to get a job and you're going to be successful. Most of the people we hire are people that have been interns for us in the past, or for me in the past, and they're now filling in my staff in Trenton. Because I know what they can do, and I know they have the same passion that I have for the sport. And I also know that one of the most greatest moments is when you walk in the arena and it's full, and everybody's having a great time, and you're responsible for putting them there.
Right.
And that's what I look for when I hire people, and coach them through and develop them.
It's funny you say that because, I coached 15 years. I coached football, wrestling, and baseball for 15 straight years in Edison, in the youth programs in Edison. And I would always tell the kids, never be outworked. You're going to outwork everybody. And that's what you just said. You said, outwork everybody. Yeah. So people think things are going to be handed to you, especially in the generation, which I didn't like, is everybody gets a trophy. Because life is a competition. Yep. And you may want to own a hockey franchise, but there may be 100 other people that want to own that hockey franchise. And what's going to differentiate you from them? And I always say, don't be outworked.
Yeah. Yeah. That's 100% true. And if you have somebody that has a passion for what they're doing, that works hard, you can teach them how to be successful. But you can't teach them how to have passion and work hard. That's up to each individual person, and that's what everyone's got to do. And you're right, we're in a generation where you got trophies for, participating and stuff like that, and that's not the way the real world works. No. So yeah.
I would coach football and other sports, and I would tell everybody, you're competing for a position. I said, you're going to compete for everything in life.
Yes.
You're going to be competing for the job. You're going to be competing for a spouse, a partner. Everything in life is a competition. Yeah. And what are you willing to do? Right. The one thing you can control is your work ethic and your drive. So I think that's some great advice for the people out there that are listening on how to be successful in business.
Yeah, it's so true. And you got to get experience. You have to get experience. And when I hire someone to do ticket sales, and that's the way in for most sports teams is ticket sales. But I don't do what some of the teams do, especially like at the NHL and NBA level, where they'll just hire 30 kids, and by the end of 6 months, 2 remain. Right. I don't like to do that. I'd rather hire 2 at the start that I know are going to be with me for a while. So I think that's important. But if you're selling tickets, do other things. Make yourselves available. Never say no when someone asks you to do something. You do it, and you're getting experience. You can't just walk into an organization and say, I want to own this team.
Sure.
You have to experience every aspect of the job, whatever it is, whether it's sports or law, whatever, before you can say, okay, I can run a team, or I can run a law office. That's just makes common sense.
It does.
I always believe that you don't ask someone to do something that you haven't done it yourself, and I pretty much have done everything. And even today, I still learn. Even from the young staff I hire, I'm still learning. How to use Canva and how to, and how to, what do I do now? My computer's saying this, But you always have to be learning.
You do, and it's funny you say. It's one of the things I always say is, how do you lead? By example. Mm-hmm. So if you've done it and you can explain that to people, look, I've been there. This is what worked for me. Now just make it better. Just go on and do it and try to improve upon this technique. Yeah. So tell me about something that happened, somebody that inspired you in your life, where you watched somebody overcome adversity, a challenge, that really you said, you know what, I can do that.
There's been several. I've had some mentors along the way, which is really nice. One of my early influences in life was Billie Jean King. I worked in team tennis in New York. Her husband at the time, Larry, was my boss. And Billie Jean was very active in running this team tennis because she believed strongly in it. And I have never met a more amazing person in my life in terms of motivational, mentoring. She kind of took me under her wing. I was the young guy on the staff.
Right.
I was the guy as a senior in high school that was outselling everybody on tickets. And she really took me under her wing and gave me a lot of life lessons. She didn't do much for my tennis game, but, she tried. It's not that
Right.
she didn't try. But I guess there's a few things that she couldn't even overcome in life. But, when you think about her and you think about what she's done for sports, women's sports in particular, Title IX is there because of Billie
Yes.
Jean King, so it gives a ton of girls opportunities to continue. All the success people are seeing now with tennis and the WNBA are all things that she laid the groundwork for. So I think she's definitely so. And then she had her hard time when, she came out as being a lesbian, and but she overcame all that,
Right.
and she still kept her role, even when people were trying to get on her about it, and for no particular reason other than discrimination.
Sure.
She never got angry. She just got more determined and more determined. So I think she's been one of the big influences in my life. And I always say, sometimes I'll say, how would Billie Jean have handled this situation?
I love what you just said is don't get angry, just become more determined. And that's a fantastic thing is because you're always going to have detractors. You're always going to have people that say you can't do this, and just knuckle down and become more determined and believe in yourself. That's fantastic. And for those who don't know, Billie Jean King, all with the Title IX and the advancement of women in sports and the ability to get scholarships. Way back in the day, there was a thing called the Battle of the Sexes on television when she played against Bobby Riggs. And she whooped Bobby Riggs' butt on a tennis court just to show that women could compete at a high level in tennis because he was very much a male chauvinist.
Extremely.
And she really showed what women could do, what women were capable of in athletics, and really put them at the forefront in college athletics, which was wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful.
There's another one coming up now. Sabalenka's going to be playing. I forget his name. He's from Australia, but I think it's in a few weeks. So and it's not like it's not as important as it was when Billie Jean did
Right.
it. But it's still fun to see women come out and be competitive like that. So she was definitely an influence on my life. There were others as well. My dad's a big influencer. My dad was blue collar, worked for Con Edison for years, but he always he said something to me several times that I always stuck with me, and that's treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You're not better than anybody else. You're not worse than anyone else, but treat people the way you want to be treated, and that's something I pride myself on. It's hard work in sports. It's a lot of hours. You're working weekends. You're working many hours and stuff. But I make sure my staff has a good time and enjoys doing it because I have to keep their passion. That's what is going to be successful for us.
And that's all about the culture.
Yes. Yes.
You want work hard, but play hard. Enjoy what you do. We try to do that at our firm. We have a lot of events just to keep building culture because we have 12 offices, so you want to get people together and enjoy themselves.
We got to get them to a Trenton hockey game.
We do, and that would be a great event because we do something every quarter, so that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have to rent out a little party deck or a suite area.
Oh, we can take care of all that. We have all that there.
That'll be a lot of fun.
And the building, the arena, I was with the arena manager last week, and people are going to recognize it when they go in. If you've ever been in the building, it's an older building.
Sure.
But new scoreboards coming, new LED or LEDs coming to the building. All the suites are being remodeled and stuff. So by the time we hit the ice, it's going to look like a brand new building.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we look forward to coming out and watching the Trenton hockey team, and we don't know what the name is yet, and we don't know who the affiliate's going to be yet either. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we anticipate that announcement in early January. Yes. So enjoy the holidays.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for coming out.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You know,
my pleasure.
It's great to see the guy whose billboard you keep seeing all around the
those
state.
GGL wins billboards.
GGL
we have
wins,
a few
you
of
know.
those. Yes.
GGL wins and Trenton hockey wins.
There you go. We got to put those. Maybe we'll get the emblem on there in the future and start promoting the hockey team. But thank you again for coming.
Thank you.